Do you have a collection ready? Is there a collection that's, I feel like there might be a collection that's ready to go.
It is very close to ready. I'm figuring out logistics. Do I have the photos ready? Yes, 100%. But I'm
Oh
uh,
my God.
I'm doing a few touch ups, here and there on some certain pieces. I'm still going for that look.
Yeah.
It will be, I can tell you, it will be black and white. It will not be in clubs like the first series. That was exclusive only to entertainment and
Sure.
the nightlife. But it will be black and white. It will be 50 pieces.
Are you all set? You got your drink, you got some snacks, you got your stuff?
Yeah, drink. Yeah, no snacks. I'm okay. Yeah, an hour and a half. I'll be fine with us.
Hell yeah. Well, we're getting started. Guys, welcome back to your Joyage, just Cage, your guide. I'll be replacing the little device subject for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say first, thank you for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Drop a like in this video so that other people can find the voyage. Today, we have such a special guest today. If you're watching right now, you probably already know who he is. This is Fidel Amos, or at Fidel Everywhere on Twitter. He is the creator of the popular photography set, the one that has literally taken the world by storm. It just like blew the fuck up. Called Black&White Nights NFT set. So you've probably already heard of it if you're watching this, but this is Fidel. Thank you for coming on, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This might be my first podcast.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Dude, it's probably the first of many. I'm probably the first of many.
Well, I worked a lot in radio when I was in college, and
Oh,
so
no
I
way.
I've done a lot of live streams and those kinds of things, on site. But I've never done the podcasts visual before. So be first. It's a nice first. Is this actually live or do you?
Oh no, fuck no. Absolutely not. No, I'm way
Like,
too
I can
nervous
shake
to
my
do
nose and
that.
stuff.
One of my favorite podcast shows, they did a live episode, and I remember that it was like a shit show. They were like, man, if we say one wrong thing, like we are so screwed. And they were like, they had a huge platform. So maybe one day I'll have the balls to go live or do like a YouTube or Clubhouse live. But you're doing a Clubhouse thing.
Yeah, I do the Clubhouse too. It's I don't I mean, actually, to be honest, I have nothing against recording and live and those kinds of things. I just have never been a part of a few of them. So whenever I'm on one for the first time, I find it, an interesting medium. But I do, like, I stream on Twitch, I have a YouTube channel. So I know the world of being around video. I haven't really participated in the live broadcast and the live podcast. Yeah, so
Hell yeah, I didn't know you were into like Twitch and streaming and all. What do you stream?
yeah, video games, brother.
Yes, the perfect timing.
Yeah. Warzone. I guess what I'm more known for is State of Decay and Dead or Alive, those kinds of things, because I'm more of a walkthrough, kind of a channel, not a shoot them all up and go for high kills kind of channel. So on my channel, I basically talk to people, let them know what I'm doing through the game, and it's more of a walkthrough thing.
Okay, well, so we'll rewind a little bit. So the reason you and I are talking is because after your thing blew up, I had seen a tweet about it before, and I can't remember exactly what happened. All I remember is like he sent a tweet out about some photography set that he was talking about, and I remember like it was either a couple days before or a couple days after he said photography sets like might be next, and then so I forget if that was right before or after. But then when your set started taking off, I remember I saw the pictures, and I was like, holy shit, these pictures are awesome. And then obviously the rest of the fucking entire world thought the same thing, and they just aped into it, dude. Like, what was that like? Talk to me about when they first started to blow up and they just started selling and selling and selling.
Let's see. Actually, it was about 2 o'clock here in the morning, Friday night last week, going into Saturday. And so my girlfriend was about to fall asleep and go to bed, and I was just checking in with Twitter. I was about to close the computer, and join her, and then I got a message, and because I have my email set to let me know, when you get a sale, and so my open see, boop, 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 the message, and my phone was in the kitchen. She was in the living room, or she was in the bedroom. I was in the living room, and then it just hit, boop, 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 boop. And she's like, who was messaging you? I was like, actually, that's my email. I don't know what that is. Because I never expected, I figured it was some error. Yeah, I just went through the phone, and actually I screen grabbed it. I mean, I video screen grabbed it, you know, because I was so amazed. I said something really big just happened, and I have no idea what happened. When I went online to Twitter to check, there's a guy. I don't know everyone's names. I know them all by the online names. So this guy Skeefer, who I'd been contacting with, you know, just talking about NFTs and just talking about what's going on. He said, yeah, I just sent a message to this guy, Alex Becker, you know, and Becker he just wrote one sentence. I'm aping in. I know he wrote in something like, you know, these are really nice. I'm going to ape it. And everyone just followed him. And the amazing thing to me was, well, two things hit me at first. One, that there were 50 photos. So I figure, you know, maybe 10 people, because this happened before, 2 or 3 people are talking and they come in and 2 or 3 people at once buy my work. So I figured maybe 10, 15 people were listening. I didn't know who he was then. I didn't know what kind of work he was into. And the first thing that hit me was I was amazed all 50 photos sold. I had sold a few before that. So it was like 44 photos that were remaining. And the second thing that amazed me was the secondary, because people were buying and then immediately getting offers from others, and everything just started selling double and triple, you know, and going up. And that right there is the thing that surprised me the most. I mean, yes, it surprised me that it all sold out, but it surprised me that more people were pushing out the original people, and then this price just rose through the roof, you know. I think at one point I was at 8 ETH or 7.5 as the floor, you know. Man. And then it leveled out after a few days, and I think now I'm at 4 as a floor, you know, but things still sell every day. People sell amongst themselves, you know, and so the volume is going up. It's a blessing, man. I try to be as realistic as I can. You know, I'm a very down-to-earth kind of guy. I'm 44 years old. I've had a lot of experiences that could be attributed to luck and chance and circumstance, you know. But at the same time, I've had experiences that tell me if you do something more and more and more, and you keep doing it, then eventually you'll get noticed for that, you know, whether in a good way or a bad way. And so I'm half torn between, it was very lucky that he saw that and that he said something about it, because he's done it for other people. But at the same time, I've been grinding, you know, I've been grinding since February. I mean, easily low bar, 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, you know, because especially I teach photography at a college here in Verona, in Italy, where I'm at. And since January, we've all been at home, you know, so I was doing work from home. And after that, I had all these hours a day to do nothing. And so that's when I got into the NFTs. Yeah. But after, you know, 7-8 months, half of me is that's very lucky. And the other half is like, well, you know, you've been on a computer 4 hours a day, you know, doing it. So it's nice that somebody said, oh, yeah. In either case, it's a wonderful experience, man. Yeah. Which you might have a taste of.
Bro. Yeah, I wanted to get to that, dude. I've already told you, but like, dude, thank you so much. I mean, you did not have to do that, and
it's my pleasure, man. It really is. And I guess I'm very blessed because I do something I like, and the fruit of that can go to others, but it's still something I like. It's not like I'm paid to do it, or I have to change jobs and I'm forced to do it. You know, I love, especially with my students, I love seeing people shine, especially if they're in my, you know, area, if they're in photography. Artists in general, yes, but when young photographers have work, I know that feeling, you know. I worked for 15 years in New York in fashion and street and advertising and those kinds of photo opportunities, you know, and I know that feeling of just, if someone just looked in my direction, there's a million of us, but if someone just picked this up instead of that other thing, that's all people really need sometimes. So just pointing the eyes in your direction, man. It's up to you now to run with it.
Right.
I dig it. I dig the one. I have 2 or 3 of them, actually. Yeah, I scooped up half that floor. I scooped up half that floor when I had the chance. Yeah, I love my favorite was the one in the middle of the. Is it you? I can't tell if it's you or it's someone else. It looks like you though, where you're in the middle of the rising of those little hills, those mountains in the background, and it just kind of looks like a.
I think they're all me. I think there's maybe only like 1 or 2 that are not me. I think one's a girl that I met. And then,
yeah, I have that one
from the back. That one?
Yeah, where you see her view of her back looking out into the valley. Yeah.
That was a hilarious story.
And I think I got the one where someone allegedly was smoking a bowl.
it was CBD. Everything's legal. Everything's absolutely legal. Just happened to be on 420. Okay, so for anyone not aware of what happened, you may not have come from Twitter. So basically, Fidel had his set blew up. He had I mean, so in this space of NFTs, because you've been in it for a while, I've been in it a little bit less than you, but I've been in crypto, so I understand that whole world for a while too. And when you're in this space, like it's very time sensitive sometimes, like extremely time sensitive. So when something happens, like you pretty much have to capitalize on it, and you did. You were given that platform, and you were able to give back, which I'm sure brought other people to your page because like that's dope. You know, you don't see that often. And so he shouted out. First he bought like 4 of my things, so I got pinged 4 times, and I was like, holy shit, someone just bought 4 of them, and I was like, this is crazy, and I was like, oh my god, and it was like boom, 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 boom. And then I saw
it's crazy, right?
oh my god, it was nuts. And then I see a tweet, and it's like this guy, and I was like, wait, I know that tweet, I know that Twitter name. Where do I know that from? And I see it, and I click on your page, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I dig your work, man. That's the best part about it. I don't buy things, I'm not into that 10K collector things. I don't make assumptions on, what people are. I mean, what piece is going to be more valuable based on mint and rarity. I just go with my gut. I see photos that I like. I like to scour the bottom realm of OpenSea and find all of those, 0.01, 0.02s, and just let people shine because I think they should, So I don't expect people to buy things. They didn't before last week. I mean, I've been sharing other artists' work for a long time. Sometimes people buy 1 or 2, but now it's like I don't know. It's an explosion of awareness. It's like, I really don't think that people are just listening to me to listen to me, because I didn't show them anything that would show I'm any kind of pro in that field. I mean, I have a collection, but it's not like I've been putting out collections 10 years and they're like, oh yeah, every time it works. I think people go into the, like the young artist page, like yourself or, Buchin or all their screen names, just people who I've been talking about the last few days. And then they see the work and they're like, he's right. This is hot, and it's, 60, 70, $80. So I'm buying it. The effect is the work sells itself after that, because the people who come after them want to buy it from them, not because they trust those people or trust me. I think it really does shine on its own. And that's the best part about it.
100%, dude. What was it like? And you said you didn't know who Alex Becker was prior to when he tweeted you?
No, I hadn't heard of him. I'm very deep in the NFT world, but I'm not deep in crypto. And
Gotcha.
to be honest, other than buy NFTs with Ether and Tez, I don't share or invest and trade in those kind of things. Gotcha. But after I saw the tweet, when I realized where it came from, I did a little bit of research on him just to see who he was and what kind of work he does. And I watched 1 or 2 of his YouTube videos, and so I was able to, just kind of see what kind of a guy he was. To his credit, he didn't just blow me up, and walk away. I don't think he would mind me saying this, but he came into my DMs after and he was like, good luck on everything. He's tweeted about me a few times, kind of guiding me and letting me know. I asked him a few questions about, the collection. If I were to do another one, which at this point now I am going to do one, but just ideas on things like that. So he didn't just, hit the start button and then take off, which was very cool. Yeah. And so I still try to do that for everyone else. When people DM me, I mean, obviously, as long as it's not scammy or spammy, I respond and I try to answer as many questions as I can, because it just happened to me a week ago. So, I want to share that information.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. what he had said, because I figured he had DM'd you. Well, I think I saw a tweet where he may have said like DM me or something, but I figured, I was like, there's like, he definitely just set this guy up and was like, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you don't do that, make sure you try this, or like say something. So I figured he
gave me a lot of suggestions, and he mentioned to me other projects, because even Twin Flames, for example, I hadn't seen it. There's so much work out there, I hadn't run into that yet. But he told me, there's a few other projects if you want to go take a look at them. He suggested a Discord. He suggested cultivating my community, and he gave me a few ideas, so I'm happy for that. I have a lot of other, I guess you could say, in the know friends in that community, like NFT for Art or Perfect Paradox. Those guys who are big on other platforms. They also gave me a lot of suggestions, and I'm thankful for that, because they, information. We live in an era where information can be worth money now. Information used to be free and pass knowledge one to another to sustain humanity. You teach a man to fish, that kind of thing. Now information can be, I'll tell you what I know for, $200 an hour.
Right.
So when anyone stops, especially Clubhouse, I tell young artists now, when you see Clubhouse and people go in who've been doing it for 20 years and they sit in the room, even if you can't talk, even if you can't be a part of that, to go and listen to experienced people talk for 2 hours for free, for people to come into your DMs and not try to sell you anything or take advantage of you and just give you loads of information. I mean, those things are priceless. So I'm thankful to everyone that's given me information about it, because it's never happened to me before, Photography, I know, but sudden popularity, something I had to get used to.
So you launched a Discord and you like cultivated a community. What you did was, while it was also like, it was like a win-win situation, like you sharing other people's art, like giving back on the platform, because like you had just blown up. I'm sure you got a lot of money for it, so you were like, let me give back. And like that shows the community that you're not just like a Ponzi scheme where you take the money and you run and you turn into like every other person who has some like good fortune happen, and their fortune runs out after a week. And you doing that, well, for one, I'm sure it like boosted your like social status in terms of like, this is just a good person in the space, plus he's got artwork, plus he's a cool guy. But also you started a chain of events. When your thing blew me up, I'm on a smaller scale, but it was crazy because I did the exact same thing. Like I was like, okay, let me see like what other artists out there, because I have a little bit of money, I want to give back too. What he did was so cool. Like that'd be awesome to do that to someone maybe even smaller than me. And so I went and like found one guy's art, and then I found another one, and I tweeted about one of them. And like I don't have a lot of followers or anything at that point. I had a few extra from you that had come, but I tweeted about it, and it like I don't know if their set sold out entirely, but pretty much almost sold out. And I remember she was like DMing, she's like, oh my God, and blah blah blah, and I was just like, this is fucking nuts. And then she was like, I'm gonna do this too, and I was like, bro, what did Fidel start? I was like, this is great.
The thing in my mind is that there's a formula, if you are the kind of person that you are, and then you suddenly come into a lot of money, you hear that money changes people, and I'm sure it has the possibility to do that. But I really think that it can boost what you did already, and I've done it already. I've been doing it. I do it on a different level now. A month ago, I would have bought one of your pieces, instead of four. But I've been playing this formula. It's something that we cannot lose at. People ask me sometimes, like, what's your angle? What's your deal exactly? Nobody talks about their artists on their own page. They talk about their own stuff. Yeah. And I really believe that if you go into the deepest parts of all the platforms, and you find the work that really deserves it, or in your opinion deserves it, if you tell people about that work and you have the power, as I do, at least for this week, to suggest things to people, and then they come and buy at a low floor, the artist, A, makes money, A. B, the people who have the money to start that want to make money also. Because if you're buying at a low floor, you're not just coming in and buying 10 ETH pieces like Cake Tux or those guys there. And so the first round of things sells quickly because we have all these smaller collectors who want to be a part of the growth, and we have people who just want to double their money. Yeah. And so they immediately sell to the smaller collectors. The smaller collectors just keep doing that 2 or 3 rounds over. Then eventually they get to a point where they can't resist taking a sale. And so they sell to the bigger collectors, and bigger collectors hold, you see? So in this process, the artist makes money, the artist begins to make royalties. The smaller people who came in and just want to double their money, they did that easily. Now they're out. And I am often in that pool, because if I can flip a piece and support 3 or 4 other artists with the 0.5 I just made, that's a win-win. I'm not going to get rich doing it, but I have other sources of income now, like you said before. Then it goes to the other collectors who want to build money and make money. And then it lands in the hands of people who don't want to give it up because now it's worth 80. No one loses. There's you cannot lose in this formula, Yeah. I'm going to keep doing that until the cows come home, because artists get notoriety, artists get paid, I get notoriety, I get paid. The collectors in the middle, they all flip. They may not want the notoriety, but they get paid. And the collectors at the end who are holding, they have their notoriety and they have the pieces that they want, which is why I believe a lot of my pieces ended up in the hands of, the Bored Ape Yacht Club guys, guys that are buying the just those guys that spend 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
and ladies, and have absolutely no qualms about it. So I'm just going to keep riding that formula.
Well, it's a great formula because for people like you seem like you're pretty financially literate, or at least you understand. Like, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you said you're 44. You've seen a lot of things. You've done a lot of things. You understand how the world works, and I've done a lot of research on money. And for me, money is great, and like obviously you don't want to rely on the thing you love entirely, maybe for money, because then it starts to become a little bit agitating, and maybe you make a decision you wouldn't have normally made if it wasn't for the money. But I always knew, like, if I had the opportunity where something like this just happened, and I was like, okay, well, I could release another set and I could double the floor price and like make a lot of money. But then I was like, but how long is that gonna last? That you win like 2 or 3 weeks of hype, and then your shit dies down and you lose everything and you go back to nothing. And I was like, well, that's not probably really smart. Like maybe I make another set and it blows up and I make another little bit of money, and then like nothing ever after that. And I was like, well, I mean, I have this opportunity in front of me, and I always said if I was ever to be granted an opportunity like you just gave me, I wouldn't just like piss off. I wouldn't just like fuck it up. So I was like, okay, let me start a Discord. So like the night before, which is crazy, the night before you tweeted me and bought my stuff, I had set up my Discord like preemptively. I was like, just in case my stuff blows up. I sold a couple. I was like, just in case, let me throw up a Discord. Let me change my Twitter and my Instagram handles, make it look like I know what I'm doing or something. Just in case. I had like a weird inkling. And the next day when you did that, and then like I got like 20 new Discord people, and I was like, holy shit. And I knew that like it really isn't about making a lot of money, especially from like our sets. I mean, if you sell it and you put your art up for like 5 ETH immediately, like you've just cut out 95% of the people in the space, and like that's kind of messed up, and there's no way to like foster a community and have people grow with you. And so I know you have to like build your way up from there. So I kept it low. I tried to engage with everyone in my community, and I want to like be super in there. And I'm sure that's what you're doing, because like that money isn't more than really just a tool to kind of get what you really, really want.
Yes, I agree with most of everything you just said. It is exactly like that. One or two things that I could just add from experience is that eventually money needs to be made. You are probably speaking to one person on earth who, from seeing you in this car and traveling and doing the things that you were doing in your photos, I did that 20 years of my life. When I left college, I moved to New York. And I started making a little money in New York, not making money that was notable, but giving me the freedom to travel and do things. Spent a year here, 6 months there, always going back to New York, and then always traveling overseas around the US, searching for myself is always what I called it, just looking for the real me.
Yeah.
And so I think at that point in your life, you learn to live on no money. You learn to live on the blessings and the help from others. Community is 100% of your life. I can't tell you how many couches and bunk beds and extra beds and floors of friends and family I slept on for years, always welcome, always with food in my stomach and a roof over my head, not like I was suffering, but just no stability physically, just because I wanted to be everywhere, That's where you build your community. But then at a certain point in your life, you realize, or at least I did in my own, I got to make a little money. So that's why this opportunity, I'm doing exactly what you just said. I want to try to keep doing what it is that I did, before this, just as my character, to be someone who knows and supports people and is known and supported by others. But if there's a business that's going to allow me to make royalties and allow me to make an actual income, per month for something that is a respected, job or respected profession, a photographer, I'll take it. I'll take it gladly. And then I'll share that with others while still making more. I'll do that gladly too.
So,
hi, girlfriend.
Hi.
Yeah, she's the other side of the house. Yeah, I'll try to convince her to come say hi. It's my girlfriend, whose mind was also blown when I woke her up to tell her what was going on that day.
I bet, dude. I bet.
Yeah.
So you've been teaching photography for a long time then? Like you've been as a professor?
This is my 6th year. Yeah. I moved to Italy in 2015. And so when we start up again in September, to be the beginning of my sixth year teaching. I didn't teach photography. Well, that's not entirely true. I didn't teach photography to fixed students in a building when I lived in New York. I did photography, and on the side, I taught photography to private clients, friends of friends, that kind of thing, where it was like a side business where I'd go and teach them one-on-one. But then in 2014, I was traveling. I was shooting photos along the way. I did 4 or 5 countries in Europe. No, 5 countries in Europe. That 6-month period there, that 5-month period, and I just met a lot of good people. And one of the people that I met was a guy who ran a school, and he said, I know you're in New York, but we dig your style, and we think you could be a good teacher. So if you ever wind up back in Italy, let me know. Because my mom is Italian, so I'm actually dual citizenship. I have Italian and American on my father's side. And I'm currently living in Verona, where my mother was born and raised. So cool. I thought, that would be a nice opportunity. I could move to Europe and kind of, take advantage of that. And I've been here ever since.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Talk to me a little bit about, especially like, I want to get into a little bit of the specifics with Black and White Nights, especially. But like, what is it that because you've been doing photography for so long, how has that changed? Like, what your art kind of symbolizes, if you know what I mean.
How does that change what my art symbolizes? My art will always symbolize my point of view. I guess that's the easiest way to say it. And my point of view, both in life and morally and financially, those kind of things, has changed throughout my life. So in essence, my photography has changed too a little bit over the years. I was really interested in the fashion world. Moved to New York in 2001. I don't know, December of that year. And for a year, I was a bouncer, actually, because I'm a big guy. And I met a lot of people in the nightclub life, and I met a lot of people who were hosting events. And so I started hosting events and bringing the people that I knew, because I was an actor also during the day. So I brought little mini actor celebrities that I knew, and everybody just had a good time, and I made money making parties, While that happened, I started to fall in love with photography. There was a girl that I met, and she had a camera. This was like digital photography, because I was taking photos already in college, but the digital world of photography was like 2003. And she let me borrow a camera one day, and I just went out and I fell in love with that thing, man. Fell in love with shooting. I fell in love with the speed and the quickness of it, And so I eventually started doing that. And all the parties that I hosted, I started photographing. And everybody knew if they came to my parties that I was shooting in and around, the area. It was just kind of my own thing. It wasn't an exclusive thing. There were many photographers, and I'm sure still today, who were known in that set in the early 2000s, that would just be, at the party. And in a certain amount of time, you could see the photos online, or you could see the photos sometimes in magazines and newspapers if you were with celebrities. Actually, 6 or 7, I think, of the photos in Black and White Nights are of celebrities who came to the parties that I was hosting. And after a while, I just only did that. I found a day job like managing a restaurant for a few years, getting out of the bouncing thing. And I just did photography at night. Every party I went to, I had my camera on me. And so that aspect of my life was created because I went to New York. That didn't exist where I was growing up before, Germany and Italy and different parts of the US. And so it was just a reflection of the kind of life that I was living, the kind of things that I was seeing on my own. It's interesting to me, I'll be honest, that no one else is doing it. It's interesting that, no one else has an archive or a background in those kinds of shooting situations. There are so many photographers in the world that I know do that even now, and they're not in the NFT world. So like you said earlier, timing is everything. And, maybe this won't last for me past a year. Maybe it won't last for me past 6 months, Maybe my second drop will fall on its head because 200 people will come up with black and white portfolios after that.
And they have. You started a trend.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've seen a few. I don't like to say I start trends. I think people notice what works and then just kind of jump on it,
Yeah.
but I've noticed 6 or 7 other black and white collections that I didn't notice before. I wish them all good luck. I'm a little proud because I still haven't seen anything that was the style that I was shooting. You know, just the fixed flash, old school, in your face, candid nightclub shots.
Bro, it was the candid, like that's what it was. Because I remember seeing them, and I think for me, I forget when I saw them, but I remember seeing them, and I had seen my share of photographies, especially or the photography sets, especially in the NFT space. But you're right, like there's no other photos that are, weirdly, there's no other photos that are like that, and they seem so simple.
Yeah, not only that, but I learned from 1,000 other photographers who've been doing it since 1900. I mean, everything's been black and white and in your face. And in the 80s and 90s, like even as I tell my students, there was no massive internet and no way to share photos. People were in magazines, people were in, maybe you saw them on like Bill Cunningham in New York, used to do a series every week, and you would just see them occasionally. But I don't know, it's just people haven't caught on. They haven't caught on, or they don't have that kind of work, which would be great for me.
Yeah.
But I guarantee I can tell you 10 photographers right now who were in those clubs with me. In fact, some of them are in photos, guys that I saw at all the different parties, if they ever caught on to this, I'm sure they would have some work that rivaled mine. I give credit where it's due. There's good photographers out there, But for right now, I'm just riding a wave, and I hope it continues because I have other drops that I'd like to do. I have other photos that I feel people would be, apprehensive to, and open to,
maybe, yeah.
Open.
I hear what you're saying.
And I love doing that kind of work. I'm happy to be rewarded a little bit for it. So,
yeah.
What you doing? It's okay. It's not live.
Thank God.
So, yeah, he's recording, but he can cut it out. All right. Yeah, it's something I think people would just eventually catch on to. Someone will say, "Hey, I got 100 photos like that. I got 1,000 photos like that."
Mm-hmm.
So I wish them well.
100%.
And they can't promote on my profile though. And if you notice, I think you and one other out of the 4 or 5 artists I promoted this week that I've really been in love with as far as work, you and one other have black and white. I try to steer, to the color collections. I don't want to confuse people.
Well, it was crazy because I had always loved black and white, but I'm so thankful. Like I'm so thankful your set blew up, particularly because I love black and white photography. I think it's the sickest stuff. I've always loved what's the word? A silhouette. Like a good silhouette is that's my thing. I love silhouettes. The picture as like my main shot is like basically a silhouette of me in the sunset on top of my car, and I was always like, man, if I wish I could do this black and white and this be a thing and people like it and it be like the thing, but it never was. And then when your shit blew up, I was like, yes, and I switched all my shit to black and white. I was like, finally, like people actually, I didn't know people liked this. And I was like, this is great. This is exactly how I wanted my photos to come out when I took them. They always had color before because on Instagram, that's just what works. And so I just went with that. And dude, I feel like there's probably a lot of photographers out there that inadvertently, through just seeing your shit blow up, nothing you said or did, just seeing your stuff blow up the way it did and seeing kind of the rewards you got and what's kind of happened since then, they're probably so excited that they can maybe share a dimension to them that wasn't there before. And dude, you're the figurehead. Like this potentially is the biggest NFT photography collection, and you are the creator of all time, and you're probably the first or one of the first.
It's maybe the one of the week. Yeah, I'm too realistic to let that drop on my head. Yeah, it's I'll take the collection of the week. Yeah, I'll take that. The thing is, I just know there's so many photographers that deserve it. I'm in love with photography, and I'm in love with every aspect of it. I just talked about an artist a couple hours ago, who was big on Instagram, and now he just dropped his work. 2 hours after I saw it, or 2 hours after he posted it, I saw it. Someone actually, sent me a little hint, was like, "Hey, Fidel, go check out this style." Loved it. Can't understand why he wasn't immediately sold out when he entered the field, or Sam Oreen, who I promoted 2 days ago, 50 photos or 40 photos from, I think he's in Seattle. his room, his rooftop of quarantine life with empty streets and wonderful colors, that just sitting there, at 0.02 or 0.5 or whatever, oh 05, whatever he was at. And I see things like that, and it's like an injustice that is just sitting there, the same way I felt when I went to galleries when I was younger and everyone was staring at the trend and the mode, and I was looking at other things. Just it's a field where uniqueness is instantaneous, and as soon as you see something that's excuse me, not instantaneous, addicting, and as soon as you see something that's different and unusual, it should be in everyone's mind. People should be buying that stuff, so I hope. I mean, I do it already, but I hope it gets to that point. I don't see why it's an impossibility now that I can't be in the philanthropy world and make money at the same time. It doesn't make sense to me. I hear stories, and we're going like deep into my psyche now, but stories of people who are uber rich and Bezos, and Zuckerberg, and people who have $1 trillion. They have $1 trillion now, these people. It's a whole nother world, but the 100,000 people that work for them are miserable, the 50,000 people in these different factories that don't get paid enough. I hear they don't get bathroom breaks. I hear that they're working 10, 12 hours a day, for whatever wage they're paying. It doesn't make any sense to me that a person can't have $500 billion, instead of $1 trillion, and have every single person that works for him happy, making money, succeeding, with their own house, debt free. I don't get that mentality. And so even if I'm talking about the little money that I'm making more income now than I was 6 months ago. If I can shine a light and somebody can make money and I can make money, I won't lie to you. If there are competitors in the future, if someone comes out with, white and black nights and it's the exact same thing, I won't promote them because they will be a direct competitor. So I still have to have a livelihood, but all this work that's sitting around and all these people with money, stupid money, who just want to hold pieces that are of note, you bring them together, we all make money. There's no loss to that formula. Everybody wins.
It's crazy. I was thinking about this the other day. I just got into the NFT space, but I mean, I've got obsessed with it, but I was in crypto for so long. I knew NFTs were a thing, but I don't know. I just didn't want to make an OpenSea account. I was just like, it's fine. It'll blow over. I didn't even know. I just didn't really take it seriously. Finally, I was just like, you know what? Let me just see what this is about. I'm kind of tired of Bitcoin dictating my whole life. So I bought like some random NFT just to like dabble in the sand, get a little bit of my feet wet. And like within an hour or so, I was like, oh, shit, I'm in here.
I'm going to spend all my money.
And now, bro, I've been spending, I spend probably anywhere from 8 to 16 hours on Twitter, on Discords, on OpenSea, just flying through shit, just looking at stuff, talking to people. And it has consumed my life to a point where I'm like, what else is there? Who like, what are you buying if you're not buying NFTs? Are you buying like rugs? Are you buying like plants? You know what I mean? And there's people, 99% of people on Earth are not buying NFTs, which is absurd to me.
I have no idea what it even is. Yeah. We are so early now in this space.
It's weird. Like we're literally pioneers. I mean, we're not pioneers. Probably the people 6 months ago are pioneers, but we're like the second wave of pioneers. Yeah, you're right. We're so early.
We're so early. We're still pushing it up to the general public. So everything we do now will matter for our livelihoods. I mean, it's not impossible that we can make money for 5 years. Mm-hmm. It's not impossible that we can have royalties. I mean, even if you think of the most minimum royalty you can think of in the NFT world, people are making millions. But let's just say, Kate, what if you can make $1,000 a month doing it?
My God.
God for that. And I don't mean doing it, working it 8 hours a day. I mean, what if just you out surfing or mountain climbing, you get that notification and in a month you make $1,000, $1,500 doing nothing. It's so possible now, and I just saw it happen to me. And I had the idea, what if I actually put time into it? What if I quit my job? Like all these thoughts come to your mind because now it's real. It wasn't real when Beeple back in April, when Beeple sold his 69 million, that wasn't real to me. That was a story of oddity, but it wasn't something that, oh yeah, we can all make $69 million. But now I can tell you with a straight face, it is not impossible that we all make 50, 60, 70 grand a year.
People are doing it. They're quitting their job every day. On Twitter, I'm seeing it. They're like, quit my job today. Like, I'm all in. And I'm just like, dude, this is weird, because a few months ago I watched a video, and I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Gary Vee. And they were like, there's going to be a world where people don't have to work because probably AI will just take over 90% of the workforce. But we'll be in video games, or we'll be in like NFT marketplaces, and people will be getting paid full-time salaries just trading art and like looking at art, maybe playing the video game, winning NFTs in the game, trading, and like that'll be like the day job of the next generation of people. And I'm like, this is so insane to me, and it's so exciting now that I'm in, and it's so hard for me to deliver it in a way where I can explain it to people who aren't in it. So I'm curious to know, when people ask you, especially maybe some of your photography friends who aren't in NFTs, how the hell do you explain this whole world? How do you even begin to do that to someone?
I hate to say it. But it's true. For my true blue photography friends, for my true blue friends who happen to be photographers, I just show them the money. That's it. I share with them my royalty. I show them a screen. Guys I've known, some of them are in California too. I talked to them on the Zoom and things like that. I've known them 20 years of my life, guys I knew in New York. And I don't even talk about what an NFT is, because starting like that will bore someone to death before you even get to the guts of it. I just say, yeah, this thing is real. This is what I made this week. I have more royalties coming. I could easily not work 6 months. I don't like talking about money, but when you have to tell people what is a possibility, I could easily do that, And so I try to make it real for them. And the realest thing for people is comfort, money, financial backing, being able to put food on the table, being able to pay your car bill, being able to pay your house rent, things like that. And then when they ask me the logistics, then I give them all the dirty information. You got to do this, you got to do this. This is gas. Got to bring your things up. Make NFT. There's 500 different platforms. You got to choose which one you want. You got to put in your royalties. You got to spread the word. You got to shill. You got to work. You got to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You got to talk to collectors. That's the work. Just like I put up a day or two ago. Somebody thought I was bragging. I put up, I think, just the post that showed my Twitter stats, because someone asked me, what kind of work do you do on Twitter? And I showed them it was like, 10,000 shills or, 5,000 people conversations, that's because that's all work. That's sitting in front of a computer 5 hours a day doing that, And so I tell them about it, and I'm honest with them. And for the ones that get in, I'm overjoyed, because again, we're all making money. We're all making income on a thing that we created, which no one could or even would know about 2 months ago or 3 months ago. It's a good feeling.
Definitely. That's a good place to start, I would say, too, because I don't think anyone, because I've been posting my NFTs maybe for the past couple of weeks now, just like on my Instagram, for people who, most people on my Instagram don't know anything or aren't interested in NFTs. But when I said I put up my collection, they still weren't interested. But when I put on my story that it sold out, and then I had a couple people DM me and ask how much I had made, that's when people started to listen. So I guess that is a good place to launch into, because for me, like, I just had a conversation with my friend Mark about it, because he was like, dude, what the fuck? What is this? Like, what is going on? What is this world? I don't believe it. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you buy a picture when you could just buy the actual art? Like, those kind of questions, right? The ones we would ask at the beginning too. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I can explain this and give it the credit it deserves unless you actually just put in 25 hours of just looking at stuff. Like, there's no other way.
Yeah. Like the people who didn't believe that baseball cards were worth money, 50 years ago. People who didn't believe comic books were worth money, when they print 1,000 comic books and you just have one of them. And then 5 years later, you're selling it for $1,000. It's just something you have to be a part of. And I don't doubt that a lot of people will get into it, because eventually the stories will become well known. People didn't know I didn't know what an NFT was. I'm fairly deep online, but I didn't really know what NFT was until, like, Beeple. When Beeple made that information, when Beeple made that collage, and it sold for 69 something billion, guaranteed a million. I guarantee thousands of people only heard it then, what an NFT was. Well, the people who had already been in it 3 or 4 months were giggling to themselves, like you said, the true veterans, they already knew. So now we arrived, and it's the same. A few of us, hopefully, but many people will start to get some cash in their pockets, and they'll start to be these success stories. Celebrities will take notice, deals will be made, and then the next wave will come in, and then on and on and on until it becomes something that hopefully is normal in our life, like the art world. Nobody pays attention to art. Everyone knows the classics, Monet, De Gaulle, Van Gogh. Everybody knows those things because they learned them in school. But nobody looks at a painting and goes, "Oh yeah, I got one of these at home, and I know a couple of guys that got one. We'll trade them and make a little money." Nobody talks about that. But everybody knows when a piece goes to Sotheby's, it's in the news. Everybody knows when crystals or crystals. No, what's the other one? Sotheby's and well, it escapes me. When those pieces go for hundreds of millions, you hear that, and you don't hear anything about us. So it's art is like that. You got to be in it to really know it.
For me, like when I remember a few years ago, I was a typical athlete dude who just played soccer. I would walk past. I was dating like a photographer and artist, like a total creative who I'm like, God damn it, I wish I was dating them now. That would have made way better sense. It would have gelled way better. Maybe we would have ended up working out, who knows? But I remember we were at an art exhibit and I was sitting there looking at a painting, and I remember just looking at it and being like, what even is happening? Why is this here? I don't understand it. And when I started getting into photography, and I would take a picture of something, and I couldn't explain what it was that I was even trying to accomplish with it or what I was trying to show, but it was just some kind of satisfying thing about setting up the composition, nailing the timing, maybe like a bird comes out of nowhere and just get it at the right time. But I couldn't even explain it. And then I realized that that's what art is. We're just expressing ourselves and kind of getting stuff out of here, and putting it on anything, whatever is available. And it happened to be photography for me first. But that's really all it is. That's all we're really doing. Like if someone was to ask you, what does this specific picture mean to you? Maybe there's a memory attached to it. But other than that, you're just I don't know. It's just a piece of me, expressing myself in whatever manner.
100%. And that doubles when someone looks at it and gets it and buys it.
Yeah.
And that triples when other people look at theirs and want theirs, and it's still yours, still something you created. Yeah. It's a great feeling, man. I know. And you can't compare it to money because you need both. You need recognition to make money. You need money to live your life, so it's one of those things, but they are very much hand in hand. It's not 80-20, it's 50-50. I love making money. I haven't made money ever in my life. I've always been more substance kind of person. I've traded in opportunities to go places in my career for an opportunity, to go to India for free, or I've traded opportunities or award possibilities because maybe I wanted to spend time with my daughter, or I wanted to go do something that was, over there and not here. But in the end, you need support, you need financial support. So now in this world, I feel like I was. You're
gonna say it.
No, I can't even say it.
You're gonna say it.
I was just. I'm very, very happy that I fell into a world of something that I am so comfortable and free and love doing. I love doing it,
And it builds confidence and esteem.
Yeah. I was just going to say, every time it moves forward, and more things happen, I love that. And it just keeps going and going and going, So I hope it lasts for a while. I mean, I'm sure NFTs will last for a while. Yeah. I hope to focus on the particular style that I'm into, lasts for a while. If it quits, if it stops, I go back to what I was doing,
Yeah.
Spending a little money here and there, promoting who I could, making a little money here and there, working my day job.
Yeah. How do you, what do you say to I'm 23. I haven't exactly seen everything. Someone who's even further back, for me, I went and I had a goal and kind of a dream, if you will. And I spent so long wanting it that eventually I got to a point where I actually went and shot my shot with it. And I'm so glad I did. And I know there's so many people who were literally me 6 months ago, like just wishing they could, wanting to, but they just couldn't quite pull the trigger. And so there's probably a lot of people wondering, maybe they see your success in the NFT world and they go like, and maybe they watch this podcast and go, oh my God, this guy was in New York. Like, how do they get started? I mean, for me, I know you just put one foot forward and then you just go and then stuff just starts to happen. But do you have any other like advice to people who are just starting? Maybe they're 17, 18.
Well, people who are 17, 18, that's right up my alley, man. My students every day, that's the general age I get coming in as freshmen. But you just have to do it. There's no trick. There's no way that I can think to explain. There's no pitfall, something that's going to set you up. It's not like playing the market. It's not like gambling. It's not like playing the lottery. You can't really lose at it. The first step I suggest is just take a look at the platforms. People have the work. These younger artists, man, they have mountains of work. They just need to find a way to get into it. And the way to get into it is it's all free. Foundation need to be invited, but OpenSea and Hickanunk and Calamint and all these sites are free. You sign up just like you sign up for any kind of website. You do have to take some risks as far as gas. I suggest if someone is really on a budget and they want to enter the world of NFTs, I would suggest OpenSea first. It's the first one that I looked at, simply because you pay the 1 or 2 little fees up front, and then you can mint 1,000 things if you want for free. Test what works, remove it, change it. You can edit it as you go, as long as no one has bought it. Change your ideas. You can change everything. But the first step is just doing it. Having the faith in yourself as an artist to say, I've been doing this already. I was already selling my work in galleries. I already had to make prints and spend money to sell that and show it, thinking or knowing that someone might not buy it. This is no different. It's just faster, but it's still no different. Yeah. But a suggestion, that's my suggestion. My warning is, do not go in thinking you're going to get rich. Do not go in assuming that next week you will explode. Do not go in even thinking you will sell one piece, because I know people who still haven't sold a piece. It's been 6 months. I didn't sell a piece for maybe the first 2 months. If you can be realistic about that and know that whatever happens, happens, and that you won't lose anything, maybe your pride will be a little hurt. But if you can do that, then everything after that's a blessing. The first piece you sell, you'll be amazed. Holy shit, I sold a piece. The first collection you sell, still amazed. The second drop, I can't tell you how nervous I am. Yeah. There's no degree of measure to how nervous I am. I was not nervous the first drop. I put it up, it was there a month. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody had any idea, Now there are people who want something from me. And so as an artist, the same as it was, working for Vogue or working for Gucci or Prada or any of these magazines who had a deadline and they wanted something, you got to do your job and see what happens. You get those nerves. So, yeah.
I wanted to ask that question because leading up to when I had finally bit the bullet and just was like, fuck it, I gotta go. And I made like a whole YouTube thing. Like I had a YouTube channel too, so I was making videos and documenting that whole process. And I was like, I just gotta start. And I remember I cleaned my car. That was like my first step. Second step, I pulled out the seats, and then it just started to happen and roll. And then one day I was like, okay, I quit. I quit all my jobs, and 1 week later I was out and I was gone. But I remember leading up for months and months and months, trying to get myself, prime my mind to be ready and to say, okay, there will be a day where I'm ready to go, but I have to cultivate that person. I have to create that person in the next few months. So I would watch videos and I would watch people who had won, and they would do interviews and they say, what's the secret? What did you do? And 0% of them had an answer that wasn't something along the lines of well, I signed up for this thing and I got I got an opportunity and I just took it and I went, and then I don't know, another thing came up and I did that, and now I don't know, I'm just here now. And that's every answer, and I'm like, so there's no secret here. There's clearly no secret. I'm just lying to myself. There's no secret here.
Yeah, you just got to do it. Yeah.
And so I still try and find it. I'm like, there's no one's going to have the answer.
No, at the worst, you lose a little money,
Yeah.
If you go in, you pay the gas, you spend $100, you don't sell anything 6 months, you lost $100, you know. But at the most, you sell something, and you get that pride, and you get that motivation, and then you speak with the community. And really, I have to stress, community is everything.
Yeah.
People telling you where to go, where to look, even how to request things as far as information, how to go to the Clubhouse, the Twitter Spaces, even Discord now is big. It's been big, but as far as communities, it's growing. And so it's one of those things you just got to put your foot in and then figure it out for yourself.
I was gonna say you worded it beautifully by saying you're not losing anything really, other than maybe $100 or just mainly your pride.
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's no different. I may have different information for someone who decided, they're 16 years old, they woke up today and they say, I want to be an artist. I would have a different discussion with them, because people who are wanting to be artists because of this, they need nurture, just like anyone who's trying something for the first time. My daughter's 20 years old now, but she's been singing. She played water polo a lot. She played piano and all these things during her life. And there's always been points where I want to do this now, and it's a new thing. And then you start over, That aside, people who are already artists coming into the NFT space, they're not going to learn anything they haven't already gone through. As a photographer, you got to pay for your prints. You got to spend money to make money. This is no different. It's gas. As a graphic artist, you got to put in hours. You got to do trial and error. You got to work before you get that perfect piece. Otherwise, it's not going to sell for what you want compared to someone else's. As people who are musicians and artists in general who didn't get the reaction from people they wanted, who had their pride hurt a little bit, didn't sell what they wanted. All those things are not new for an artist. Every artist has been rejected. Every actor, musician, everything has had rejection in their life. This is just digital.
Yeah. It's almost easier now.
You can just see it clearly on a screen for everyone to see. But there's no one going around pointing out all the things that people don't sell. Sure. You know what I mean? It's something that artists already know. So I suggest that I encourage every artist to get into NFTs. If nothing else, the experience, the community. I've met so many fantastic people. I'm going to be traveling here. This is my traveling period. My girlfriend and I, we're going to go to Amsterdam and Germany, and they all seem amazing, but I live in Italy. It's like an hour on a flight.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know you were like,
it's like going from Texas to Arizona,
You're like, I'm going to go to Egypt next week. I was like,
yeah, I almost took that trip. I couldn't squeeze it in because I have a little vacay this week and coming up with her in Amsterdam, and I didn't want to push it. But the thing is, while I'm there now in these places, I'm going to have a beer with people. I met people online that, you never think you're going to meet. And then one day, you make a little bit of ETH, you take a little trip and you see those people for real. I'm going to shake a few hands of people I would have loved to meet. And so I'm going to get that opportunity. The community is immense. You cannot get into the NFT world with no support and make it. You just 100%. Can't. I've never seen anyone do it, even in real life. But yeah, you have to build that community.
And it's the cool part, linking, that's why, for you, I was so excited to do this podcast, because podcasting for me is my number one passion. It's where I'm so at ease doing it. I'm so comfortable, and I love it more than anything. I don't know if it's higher or lower than photography or video for me, but it's all the same to me, just expressing myself and whatnot. But I was I love this space so much. I was I wish there was some way to I don't know, link this with my new passion for NFTs and my photography and all this. And I was well, it'd be kind of cool to interview someone who's in the space. Then I was shit, I'll just send this dude. I'll just send Fidel a message. I mean, he and I just connected. He's a cool guy. He also had something cool happen that he wants to talk about, or we can maybe promote something. I have no idea what your future looks like, but I was this is cool to bring the NFT space, mainly because everyone is avatars, right? You just posted. I saw you were hey, this is my real face. This is important, and I think that's super important actually, because we're going towards a world where avatars are going to be the new normal. And how you just said, I want to have a beer with them. That's going to be almost strange, because we're so used to just, a tweet, a like, a thumbs up, a little retweet, and to have real connection it's almost weird. And this is like one way that I can bridge the gap for me, where I'm like, wow, I can like maybe talk to some of these artists, talk to some of these people in my community. I thought about doing that with some of the people in my Discord, or people all around the world. I'm like, this is amazing. If I was to travel to India, like I know someone in India now, this is awesome. And to talk to them in real life, not just on Twitter or through like OpenSea or something like that, you know?
And not only that, but it's one person you can actually have full conversations with about NFTs.
Yeah, I know, bro. I've been waiting so long to talk to someone about NFTs. You have no idea.
It's about no one knows. No one. Yeah, I sometimes I tell people just joking, in the street, they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm an NFT artist and collector." Oh yeah, okay. Oh okay. Because no idea. We're so early.
I've hit so
It's
many dead
good.
ends.
Yeah, I think you'll have a lot of success with this. I have to be honest. I met one other person who did something a little like this. It wasn't the same. It was what he would do is he would do, not he would do, he does. He does his YouTube video live, but in the clubhouse. So he goes to clubhouse rooms,
Yeah.
and while people talk, he does video and he speaks with them.
That's actually a great idea. I actually did that my second or third episode, and I kind of lost interest with Clubhouse. I don't know why. I just kind of never went back to it. I still have it on my phone, but there's no reason we couldn't have just done that.
I mean, it was, I'll say it's just a little jumpy in the sense that waiting for who's going to speak and then kind of passing the mic, because they're popular. So there's like 100 people in there. But the idea of it was great, because then you go to YouTube after and you can see the video of the chat that you just had.
Is that legal?
Huh?
Is that legal? Like, can they do that?
Yeah, because it's all over the page. Like, he tells people what's going on, and people know him for that. So they come to his page, and they already know that they're going to be on there. I don't know how they do it. I haven't figured out a way to do it myself. But yeah, the other person I met just did a podcast, but I still don't think. I think it was only voice. I don't think I've ever seen a podcast video. I mean, other than who's the guy that was a comedian? Then he was
Rogan. Joe Rogan?
Yeah. That's the only person I've seen, that did that. And before him, there was losing my Howard Stern, who would do it on TV, But yeah, I think it's a great idea. And I am sure you have a lot of artists who are making moves, that you could speak to further both of your careers. Yeah, man.
Well, it's just fun. That's like my main thing. It's just so fun to talk to someone at length. And that's the type of content I consume. And I was like, well, I was making these YouTube videos that were short and like felt like I was putting on a show. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I really fuck with podcasting. I really like talking to people at length. It's fun. Some people don't like it. I remember, I don't think I listened to podcasts until like a few years ago. But now it's like my main form of entertainment usually. Like, I'll throw on a podcast if I'm working, or sometimes, probably not at the gym, but sometimes at the gym if I'm just bored. And I love listening to podcasts. I love learning stuff. And like, there's always something that, even the person that, like a 12-year-old kid, there's something that they have in them that could change your perspective on something that could, and probably it's not something they said, it's something that I said that you took it in a way and applied it in your own head. But it's such a great way to just like learn and educate yourself and grow some perspective. And it's so fun, and it's so great to connect with people long form like this, because it's just not common anymore.
Yeah. Well, also COVID, man, really messed us up too. Putting everybody in their houses for a year. Yeah. So I'm sure that it must have greatly increased the viewers and listeners and people who are at home being able to do that. I haven't gotten into podcasts only because I like seeing people, I can watch, like the Actors Studio. And I mean, there's so many others, but where there are people speaking to each other, I can watch that, but I can't listen, can't really follow, especially when I'm doing my own real life walking around and things, and people are having full conversations. I always seem to lose myself. So
that's part of the reason I did the show. I did like a show like this, and usually I can't get it where I'm in person, just because I would have to travel to them or they have to come to me. But I always liked the idea of I never considered doing just audio. I do one, like I just make an MP3 file version and I put it on Spotify for anyone who wants to. But I always push people to the YouTube. I love watching like Impulsive. I love Rogan. I love Lex Fridman, and they're all video based. Those are all things I wanted to do. Those are all things I like doing. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I could do something. I have something to offer. And how you were talking earlier, like when you do something that, one, you love, two, it's just like it benefits both parties. It's fun. I mean, each person gets to kind of like speak at length and feel heard, and that's kind of hard to come to sometimes these days. And it's something that helps me grow in my own confidence. It helps me pass the time, gives me something to do. Um, but it's like the main thing is just fun. Like, what do you have to say about, especially like now that you have a family, like staying with something that keeps you creatively on your toes?
It gets older as it gets harder as you get older. No, it gets harder as you get more responsibilities in life. It's not really an age thing because most of the art, I can't really say most, throwing around a lot of numbers now. A lot of the art that happens is from people who have time to do the art, you know. And a lot of the, like I said, even with my daughter, she lost one or two of the passions of this 8 passions that she had, because people have to go to school now and have responsibilities. And so little by little, the real world takes over. I think the opportunity to make little money on the side while giving yourself time to do art is key, whatever that may be. So if you have a side job or a side hustle, or even NFTs, that's why I always tell people to get into them, is because even if you made $1,000 a month for the average American, the average, middle class person generally, it changed your life. I mean, imagine how much less you could do real life job and focus on art if you made 15,000 a year, just, from nothing. Uh, it's something I think people should get into now. So it's something that gets harder with time and responsibility, but I guess I'm saying that as the future continues, it's something that technology itself is making it a little less hard to be an artist. Is there ways to do it now, even with buying prints online? I just bought 3 prints. Oh my God, Nadia, I believe her name is Nadia. Fantastic art. She hand draws entire cities, with
Hell
the
yeah.
pencil. It's amazing. And all of that had to happen online. She didn't come to my house and pitch me this idea. I found it, I saw it, I liked her profile, I followed the work, I bought the pieces. And so as an artist, it's becoming a little easier to do it, but there's still that thing where you have to do it. You have to find the time to do it or you lose that passion, just like anything else, you know.
How does it how does it lend to? Because I had met this guy he was my dad's friend, and he was in his I think he was in his 60s, and his wife had passed away, and he was telling me about his life a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I shoot every single day for like 4 hours a day. He goes, and it is why I am youthful. He's like, it is 100% what keeps me youthful. He goes, if I didn't shoot every day, I'd turn into like a grumpy guy, like a really grumpy guy. So I'm curious to know, like, for you when you were in your 20s and you were doing photography, was it all like hustle? Like, I got to take this photo because for this client or this job, and has that changed now? Where, I mean, you said you're still doing photography, so like, has that changed in a way where like it's becoming more for just making you feel good and like satisfaction, I guess?
Uh, let's see. Well, let's split that into 2 parts. When I was younger, yeah. When I just moved to New York, I was 24, and I was famished for all things, especially all things art. I was acting, I was writing, I was doing photography. Not so much photography, mostly acting and writing. But anything that was artistic, I wanted to have my hands in it. So yeah, at that point in my life, it was only because I wanted to do it. Money was not an issue to me. You know, I've had my apartments with rats, in the early 2000s. I've had the rents I couldn't pay, those
Yeah.
kinds of things. I've had the 4 people living in the same, Brooklyn loft. I've been there. At that point, it was just I want to do stuff, and I want to learn. I worked for people for free for 2 years in photography before I started requesting money and payments and looking for jobs that were serious. I would just find whoever was willing to show me, and I was just hungry to learn lighting and rigging and tones and sets and Photoshop and everything that was created for that. I loved it. Then I would say probably about 5 or 6 years after I was in New York, like money became tighter, just in general because that the system changed. The the average everyday work system changed. I don't know if there was a big layoffs or something. Somewhere around '06, '07, things got a little tight for me. And so I started looking for more jobs during a day, and I put photography on the burner. But like I said, I was lucky because I would work during the day and then, go home 5, 6 in the afternoon or 5, 6 in the evening, relax, and then 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, pick up my camera and go shoot. So I was always in nightclubs.
Yeah.
So I was still fairly lucky there where I could do both. I did that until I left New York, until 2015. When I came here, I guess is where the big slide happened, where the teaching is, full time. I started doing also some freelance teaching at another school, which is a fashion school here in Verona, and teaching English also, as well as photography. And you just find yourself more tired, more, real life weary.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I can say the last 5 years, my life has become 70% working in real life and 30% shooting, because I still shoot weekends. I still shoot anytime I visit a new city, which is a lot being over here in Europe, new country, camera all the time, even if I don't have my camera, it's not charged, cell phone if I have to,
Yeah.
So it's, I do it less now, but again, that could change. If I, say the light shines down upon me from the heavens above, I double what I did on the first drop. Things are fantastic. If in a year I would greatly reduce my hours working. I have no problem with that, as long as financial is settled, because I have a girlfriend now. Things are getting, they're going to be very serious. We have our own apartment. Like real life is happening.
Yeah.
But if I can do my art 50-50 and have income coming in based on that art and not have to do my real life work so much, I'll be honest, I won't. Because that passion, man, like asking a surfer to surf all day, every day, and you're paying to do it all day, every day. Nobody would have real jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I really can't say that. I'm sure there are, industry people who love being in the industry. I'm sure there are plumbers and builders and factory workers who love doing their job. They would still do it. But half the world would probably go into the passion that they wanted to do and get paid for that instead.
Yeah. Well, it's good you asked yourself that question, I think, because I think you have to ask yourself something like that. What would happen if, before it happens, just in case it does, just like how I did. I was like, well, just in case I blow up, let me prepare. Let me have a game plan. If my stuff blows up, I need to act quick. And so that's good that for you, like you've already asked yourself, you're like, okay, if my shit blows up again, and this is legit, and this is like a thing that's going to stay, I'm gonna make a jump. I'm gonna do this. I may try that. But at least you ask yourself that question, so when it happens, you don't maybe make like a stupid decision or a rash decision. And so while we're on that topic, you got some future collections I'm sure that you're coming out with. I assume, I don't know, but like, are you gonna be doing that style in like Amsterdam, in all these other places you're going in the future?
You mean, will I be dropping collections from photos of things photos I'm going to take?
Yeah, like, are you gonna continue dropping collections like once a month? Are you gonna be like doing consistently or just like random?
If nothing stops me and I'm earning an income and everyone is thriving that follows me to the things that I'm going to go do, and yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, definitely it will be less and less, because
Sure.
Even if I have thousands of photos on drive somewhere, even if photographers have all these backup information, you still have to curate. You still need a theme, and you still need your collection to be pristine.
Yes.
So I may drop one next month and then wait 2 months.
Yeah.
Then I may drop one and then wait 6 months. But I don't plan on dropping and stopping.
Sure.
I couldn't if I wanted to. I would rather fail and never make another dime and keep putting NFTs and keep shilling after this. But I can't stop. It's art. I just love doing it,
Do you have a collection ready? Is there a collection I feel like there might be a collection that's ready to go?
It is very close to ready. I'm figuring out logistics. Do I have the photos ready? Yes, 100%. But I'm doing a few touch-ups, here and there on some certain pieces. I'm still going for that look.
Yeah.
It will be, I can tell you it will be black and white. Again, just because I haven't seen the kind of black and white that I do.
Yeah.
It will not be in clubs like the first series that was exclusive only to entertainment and
Sure.
you know the nightlife. But it will be black and white. It will be 50 pieces. And I haven't told anyone this, so technically
I'm
this is your
nervous.
exclusive.
Yeah, hell yes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not releasing the title yet,
Okay.
but it will be in that same black and white style. Yeah, but completely different. Completely
Oh
different.
my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited
Yeah.
to see that.
Me too.
This
I'm excited to see because I'm changing, you know, I'm changing themes. So I'm
yeah.
excited to see what people think of it. Maybe they
Uh,
just fell in love with the nightclub stuff, you know.
I mean,
Maybe
it's
they
always
won't be
possible.
interested in this. Yeah, it's always possible. But like
Yeah.
I said, if your mind is already ready for the possibility that the reality will be you don't sell anything, I would be okay with that. I would focus more on some other kind of plan. Yeah. What else? Let's see. What else can I tell you? I just had this huge Discord this morning too, where I explained a few things. Oh, if you're curious, from the 50 pieces that I'm going to be dropping, 10 will be exclusive to Discord users, and 10 will be exclusive to current holders of my work now from the first drop. This means that in a Discord, I'll announce a time and place when everyone can come in, drop their names. I'll pull 10 out of a randomizer from all of those names. And then I'll do the same from the users or from the holders. So from those 50, 10 of them will win a spot. And what I'll do is one at a time, I will individually let people pick what they want and take that one buy, because you can do the singular buys, the private buys, you know. When those 20 are done, then I'll open it up to everybody else. So there will be a period in there where everybody can see what's already up. They just want to have
Yeah.
the opportunity to take it. Yeah, yeah. I
Wow.
think
That's
it's
really, really
important.
smart. That's really, really
Yeah.
smart. I was about to ask how you were gonna do it because I'm trying to figure that out too. I'm like, how would you be able to follow this up? You know,
Yeah.
and that's
The thing is
genius.
it'll be slow. So you
Yeah.
really have to, you know, you have to be intimate with it. Like even if everybody is ready, it will take time for one person to buy and then move on to the next person. But I
Yeah.
think after a while, people will do it quickly. You know, people will already know what they want. And if someone picks what they want already, then they can choose another one. But the thing is, I want 10 people who don't have deep pockets to have it, who just are loyal to the Discord, because they have been, they're a great crowd of people there. And I feel that if people already have my work and they've been holding for this month, that they should have the right to, you know, jump in as well. And then everybody else can just watch the world burn. After that, I'll let the last 30 go, and they can
Oh man.
what's that movie? They can purge themselves.
Yeah. That is
Hopefully,
so
hopefully
funny.
that happens, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely be popping in that Discord. I fucking fell in love with Discord. I love Discord. I have my own little tiny community and I love it. I love it so much.
I agree. Yeah, I had one before because of Twitch. So
Yeah.
I initially got one just to, you know, and then I maybe 10 people that I talked to off and on. Now I think I'm at 450, and
Oh yeah.
I'm just so grateful because I never tell you know it's like looking out of your window every morning and 450 people are outside like you know what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, it's a little scary, but it's
That's
good.
so
It should
funny.
be a good time. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll definitely let everyone know before it happens because there won't be any big secrets of you know anything that's going to be crazy. I am still about the community though, so I'm not going to like raise the price anything crazy. I'll put it up a little bit just because my
You got
value
to.
is, you
Sure.
know,
You got to, of course.
I'm being, you know, point 0.5, point 0.6, or excuse me, point 0.05, point 0.06,
Oh
something like that.
shit, it's that low.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Want people to be able to get in. I'm not worried about it selling, to be
Sure.
honest.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not worried about the value increasing at all because I'm basing everything on this drop. But what I don't want is to go in at 0.15 and, like you
Sure.
said, immediately lose 50% of the people that don't have an extra, you know, $600,
Yeah.
$700 drop on a piece. I want everyone to
100%.
have a chance to get one. 3 or 4 drops from now, if that ever happens, maybe that will change. But right now, you know, I think it should be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that to hear that because I was the same. I'm doing my. I'm not sure when it'll be coming out soon. Um, I was probably gonna try and time these like somewhat close in relatively, sort of just like as a gesture, just because like you were the guy who kind of first like started this whole thing, for made it more realistic to me. So I thought that'd be kind of cool to drop somewhere in the next few days. I think I'm gonna drop in the next few days. Are you do you have like a time, like are you a month away kind of thing, or are you?
Let's see. What do I want to tell you? It with complete certainty, it will not be as long as 2 months.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But also with complete certainty, it will not be before 4 weeks.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I'm traveling now and working. The second week of September, I have a 2-week vacation. Me and my girlfriend are going to disappear and love life a little bit. And so I'm planning on making the moves when we get back. Yeah, but I'm not going to make people wait 2 months for no reason. I just got to put some final touches on it and give it a title. Yeah.
100%. That's the hard part, dude. I'm having real trouble with some of these descriptions, some of these titles, because I'm like, like I want it to be perfect. I want it to be exactly, and I've tried so many times now.
I find that the emotion of the photo helps. Yeah, I find that like You May Not Pass, where I had the photo of the bouncer, watching the upstairs VIP. Certain things where you just look at it and you think, that's a feeling of that photo. They come fairly easy after like 10.
Well, I've been looking at yours. The amount of times I've gone into OpenSea, retyped in Black and White Nights, and just clicked and just look. I'm literally just looking at titles. I'm like, what is the theme here that like makes it easier for me to kind of look at it?
Thanks, man. Yeah, so, it's not easy. I mean, the first 10 or 15, but after that it gets easier.
True.
What I am afraid of now, though, is I should probably go and write a list of the names of the pieces, because I have a feeling that after another 50 pieces, you may name the same thing. You may name another piece something you already called it. True. And I definitely don't want to have 2 pieces out there out of 100 that have the same title. Right. So I'll probably go and write myself all the titles, and then come up with things that are not that.
That's really smart. That's really smart.
Yeah. Otherwise, people will start complaining when 3 people have something called, the Magic. Well, I got one too called the Magic. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I wonder if that were to happen, if that would trigger some kind of like crazy like thing. Like, for example, if you released like 50 or 100 in a collection, but 2 of them were like the exact same, would that like drive up the demand for those because it's the only one that has like a double, like a twin? Or do you think, that might be something to think about, or maybe one's called Magic with a C, one's Magic with a K, or something like that. So,
well, I've had pieces that were like part 1 and part 2 of a sentence. I'm rather proud of this title, even though nobody bought the work. On 4th of July, I put out 2 pieces from a series that I had last year, where they were fireworks, nighttime fireworks show. And so I was on a roof, and actually I was there in California, in a town called Martinez, where my daughter's mom lives. And we were just on this rooftop, and I just got perfect. Everything was perfect. The aperture was perfect. The focus, the lights were just beautiful, So I put these 2 pieces out, and the first one I called "And the Rocket's Red Glare," and then the second piece I called "The Bombs Bursting in Air." So there was kind of that play on individual pieces. In a collection, it'd be kind of dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be kind of dope. True. Yeah, I'll think about stealing that. But now you have proof, though. You got video now. Fidel stole that from me. I want 50.
Man, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. I'm getting excited about yours. I'm getting excited about mine now. Shit. Man, this kind of like start a fire in my head.
Sitting in the car, getting excited about art, man. It's great.
Oh my God. Great. Yeah, well, listen, dude, I'm so excited. I'm so glad we got a chance to talk. Dude, it's so nice to talk to someone in this space, one who's just in this space in general. But like you're exactly what I was hoping you would be. Just a nice dude, down to earth, and Thanks, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. You too, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out, because it's a great experience. I'd love to chat with you another time. If you're not too famous by that point. Yeah.
It would be cool maybe to talk after after their collection drop or whatever you got going on in your life, just to kind of like talk about it, whatever. Um,
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, set it up, man. You set it up when we do the next drop, I'll chat with you.
oh
Definitely.
yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Be
Well,
like aftermath, what
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey man, thanks for coming on. Super excited for your drop. Super excited for mine, just in general for the NFT space. Is there anything you wanted to close out with, like any kind of shout out? Anyone? Do you want to like shout out your Twitter? Your
Shout outs. Well, yeah, I gotta start off with Skeefer. Skeefer, I don't know your real name, man, but thanks for giving Alex the heads up, and then obviously Alex Becker. Thanks for noticing the value of my work and making people aware of that. And just as a personal shout out to I guess every artist, people coming up. This is a example of something that you can do. It's an example of a position you can be in. To sell some work and have people see your stuff. So, never give up, never surrender.
hell yeah, man. I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna wrap it up. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.